only talks to me when she needs something, or when I hang out with the famous.
Here is a bunch of figures that you have already purchased. This is the Legacy Insecticon Retrospective. We're going to be starting off in bug mode, and I will be so real with you guys. I kid you not when I tell you that I asked like 5 other Transformer content creators like how I should go about talking about the Insecticons, and all of us came to the conclusion that like, yeah, they're kind of boring on their own. Like, unless you're comparing them to like their past versions, these guys don't really do anything special. And as a group, unlike the Dinobots, they really don't stand out when it comes to other Legacy or even just other general Transformers releases. That's not to say that they're bad, they're just underwhelming, boring, irremarkable, along those lines. I do like them. I also like just kind of find them a little bit boring, unlike the Dinobots, but we'll talk about that more as the video progresses. Let's get into transformation. More and more as time has gone on, I feel like people have soured on Kickback. I get he was the first one, so it's kind of like the rough one, but it's also just the simplest one, and he does not help the fact that Legacy Wave 1 had a very lukewarm reception. That said, he is a good representation of Kickback. He just is stupid simple, and I think that's part of his design. But we're gonna get started. First thing you want to do is fold up his bug legs into the calves, flip out his feet, and you're basically done. Then you just want to close up these bug arms, flip out the hands, and do the same on the other side. Rotate these bug wings to your preference, remove the blaster from the back, flip down the face cover, and rotate the head around. And yeah, it's not a very involved transformation, and it really leans into that Econo Box Deluxe theory that I have about the Insecticons, because that's not much of a transformation, and he doesn't have a lot of paint going on aside from right here and right there, but he does have some really good articulation, mainly in the elbows with that almost full like double joint reception, even though he has only single joint elbows. He also can't open up his front. I know there are some people who've like pried this open and gotten that out, and there's no detailing or anything under there, so no real point to, but it is weird that it is pinned there instead of just being like a glued in insert, which I think I would have preferred. But yeah, Kickback. The next Insecticon to be released was Shrapnel, and I find a lot of people still really like this one. He looks pretty good. He looks like Shrapnel. I believe on the box he's actually named that, which is great, because the last time we got this guy, he was not named Shrapnel, he was Scrapnel. Bug mode looks pretty good. Not a lot of paint going on, but there is some nice detailing here. Nice clear window there. Again, it looks like it's on a hinge, but you can't open it. Blaster stores down here, much like on Kickback, and he has some good little bug legs going on there. So transformation on this guy is actually pretty cool. You just want to slide out the arms here, and then grab this whole rear bug section and extend it down and fold it back onto itself. Close up these, flip out the feet, and separate the legs. Remove the blaster, close up the bug legs, rotate them 180 at the waist, fold out the hands, there we go. Rotate the rear bug legs back, or take them off, I guess, but we're gonna rotate them back. And then bring the pincers down and open up these little face covers. And there we have Shrapnel. Give him his blaster here, and he looks pretty good. I do like this guy a lot more than I like Kickback. This was actually the first one that I got. I found him at Ross, and for $8, he is super, super great. I really like this guy, and apparently Hasbro must like him too, because they used him for the basis of 3 other Insecticons, which once again leads into that like economy deluxe or like Ford Escort deluxe class guy, because again, not a lot of paint going on here. A little bit of paint on the feet, some paint on the face, that's always nice, and some paint on the blaster, but again, like definitely a like cheaper looking deluxe and a very simple transformation, all things considered. Last up, and my personal favorite, Bombshell. This was the Legacy Evolution Final Wave guy, and he looks very, very good. He is a partial off of Shrapnel, but everything around here looks pretty good aside from the obvious gap right there. And he does, unfortunately, not store his blaster underneath, which I actually don't like. I really wish he could, like the other ones. Getting him into robot mode is extremely simple, although there's this little vestigial piece back here. It's like this little, I think it's for bug mode, but I honestly don't know what. So you just fold it down, untab these locks right here, and pull the arms out. Again, same thing as Shrapnel. You want to extend the legs down and close up these doors because they do share the exact same legs. From here, you're going to grab right the two arms and bring them out until they thwump into place. Fold out the feet. Rotate 180 at the legs, separate the legs, rotate the back bug legs around. Wow, is this sounding familiar yet? Fold out the hands and grab this face piece and slide it back. From there, we can give him his little blaster. There we go. And there we have Bombshell in robot mode. And I actually like Bombshell the most. This was one of the last ones I picked up. Yeah, this was the last one I got, and I really do like him. I think he's my favorite. And I just really like the look of him. I like the black hips on him. I like the all black legs. But again, not a lot of paint going on here. He has the nice silver on his rhinoceros beetle horn. No real silver on the face except on that mouth guard. And not a ton going on. He does, again, have that chest door that you can't open. And on the back, he's just a, like, gray and black slate. So, overall, yeah, definitely not a ton going on here for the Insecticons, like, paint-wise, which, like I said, still leans into that theory. But that doesn't mean that this one, at least Bombshell here, is not a good or good-looking deluxe. I definitely prefer these guys in robot mode. The bug mode is fun, and I feel like having a whole horde of those would look really nice, but the robot mode is where these dudes, I feel, look the best. It definitely feels prioritized, and having them on the shelf, this is where I keep them. I keep them in their bot mode because it looks so much better, and this is how I imagine them. They're a lot of fun, and some of them even have some, like, joints that are unorthodox, like Kickback's super elbows and these Shrapnel molds, like very weird shoulder pads. For comparison, here they are with Legacy Goldbug, Legacy Cannonball. Representing the Laser Prime mold, we have Target Prime, Age of the Primes Wasp, Channel Mascot Laserfire and Shattershock repping the Chase mold, and of course, Machine Wars Hoist. Alright, articulation on these guys is actually pretty basic across the board. These two almost have the same exact articulation, but let's get into Kickback first. He has a kind of a reverse ball jointed head, so his head goes in, if I can get it off, there it goes. It goes in like that. So, you know, it goes down into the body instead of coming up and out. So it is, I actually prefer that style head because I think it gets more emotive. He has 180 at the shoulders, they go out that far. He has a single joint at the elbow, but you can futz a double joint, although I think he actually loses range if you do. And then no wrist swivels. Again, Decepticons just can't get wrist swivels. He has a full rotation at the waist. Legs go up that far, they go back that far, go out that super far. Thigh swivel, bend at the knee. It is just a 90, even if you move the bug leg, it is still just a 90. It locks in at that point. And he has a pretty good ankle tilt. Yeah, not a full inversion, but full 90 at the ankle. So Kickback gets like all the posability to kind of make up for his lack of a transformation. Moving into Shrapnel. Shrapnel has a swivel at the head. Man, these Decepticons just keep losing articulation. His arms go out that far, go back almost all the way around, and I bet you could get them all the way around if you just move his horn out of the way. Yep. They go out this far. They do stop there. It's not the horn. He gets a more than 90 at the elbow and a bicep swivel and no wrist because, of course. Waist swivel. And then from the waist down, so we're actually not going to talk about Bombshells like from the waist down because they have the same legs. They go forward that far, back that far, out to a 90, and then they get stopped. Thigh swivel, 90 at the knee, and a pretty pitiful ankle pivot. It's enough to get like what you need. He also does have toe down, but that's more for the transformation. Like, it's enough to get what you need, but not quite the same level as Kickbacks. For Bombshell, Bombshell is the weird one because he has like this doofy little like assembly on the back of his head and gives him, you know, like a toupee because he's balding. But He does get side to side. Again, just a swivel, no ball joint there. Arms rotate all the way around. They go out that far, and you can actually pop these out to get pretty good range on those arms. Not thigh swivel, bicep swivel, and slightly more than a 90 at the elbow. Again, no wrist, and he has the same legs as Shrapnel, and they have about the same level of mobility at the hip, if not slightly more, because his torso is just a little bit thinner. So that is Articulation on the Legacy Insecticons, and as far as I know, there are no real secrets to these guys. Although those who might be thinking, hey, your Kickback's head looks a little different than mine. This is actually the Toy Deco head that comes with the 4-pack Ransack, which is, I think, the only real secret that you can kind of swap out on these guys, is that there is a Toy Deco Kickback head included with that 4-pack, which is how I like to display mine, as I prefer the Toy Decos. You can also do a thing with these two where if you swap their groin and hips around, which you have to unscrew their entire backs, which luckily their whole backs and hips are all screwed together, so you have to take out 8 screws a piece, but you can swap out their hips, and apparently that's supposed to make them look more accurate, although when I looked at photos, I couldn't tell what people were talking about, so I think they look fine. It's really up to you. If you want him with black board shorts, that's fine. If you want him with all gray, lower legs and crotch, whatever, that's your prerogative. But I like them with the black and the gray, and then it's swapped. I like that. But yeah, there's the Legacy Insecticons. The Legacy Insecticons are a weird group. I don't like down-talking an entire squad or subgroup, but the Insecticons, when compared to the Studio Series 86 Dinobots, aren't nearly as memorable, or even Reflector, who had this cool combined mode for them. This group doesn't stand out really, and that kind of makes me feel sad, because I sold off my Prime Wars once to get Reflector, and then Reflector was so good I was like, oh, maybe I should try out the Insecticons. And these Legacy Insecticons, while they do deliver on the they are deluxe class Insecticons, that's what these are, I don't really think they needed to be. I think we could have been fine with some new core class ones, or even a 3-pack at leader class. I think that would have been really nice too. That said, this is what we got, and they're fine. They're perfectly serviceable Insecticons. Do they need another shot? Probably not. We probably don't need another set of these, at least not for a while. Maybe some better decos. With all that said, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the support links down in the description. Let me know what you think about this video down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. This has been Bots Obsession.